All right, guys, in this video I'm gonna be showing you guys how to recharge your Evo, or any car for that matter, with Freon. In this case, my car takes R134A. Newer cars are going to be taking 1234YF, so just make sure you know where refrigerant goes on your car, but nonetheless the procedure is going to be the same. So starting off, we have the low side and then the high side. A good way to tell if you don't have caps is by looking at the size of the lines. The bigger line is low side, smaller line is high side. Simple, easy. Typically you're not really going to access the high side unless you're trying to pull a vacuum, but it's good to know how to do it. I mean, it's the same way as doing the same way you hook up to the low side is the same way you hook up to the high side. But for charging purposes, you're gonna hook up to the low side with the compressor running or the AC activated on the car. You're gonna fill it up on the low side. But if the compressor is not running, which you will know if the AC clutch is not engaged, then go ahead and fill up a little bit on the high side until the compressor kicks on. Once it detects that there's pressure, it's going to kick on, and go ahead and fill up through the low side. All right, so the first thing you're going to need is a set of gauges. These are gauges I use for work. You don't need such fancy ones. You can just go to Harbor Freight, AutoZone, and they sell specific automotive gauges that are just for 134A. Nonetheless, you need a set of gauges. If you don't have the single 12-ounce jugs, in Washington, that's where I live, they don't sell it to non-commercial customers anymore. So if you have a big jug, you're gonna need a set of gauges. If you don't, if you found someone who can sell you a 12-ounce little jug, little bottle of it, the procedure is gonna be the same. So go ahead and follow along and let's get this car charged up. We're gonna have our blue, yellow, and red. The yellow you won't worry about. Red, high side, blue, low side. So with these kind of gauges, I do need a specific adapter, which I have here, one for the low and one for the high side. Let me grab this adapter for the low side. And again, this is if you're using these like commercial HVAC refrigeration hoses, gauges. So this might not apply to you because, like I said, if you go to Harbor Freight or AutoZone and get the 134A gauges, they're already gonna have this fitting on them. So let's go ahead and put it on and hook up to the low side. Okay, so I got this hooked up. Go ahead and remove the cap on the low side. Then to put this on, you simply just click it on. So like that, you'll hear it click on. And we see that the pressure is at 45 without the car running. And let's hook up to the high side too so we can see what the pressures are on that. We're looking at the pressures. As we can see, they are equalized. Why? Because the car is off. Once the car is on, you're gonna notice the high side is gonna go up a little, your low side is gonna drop. For 134A, we really want it to be 2000 RPM. You want the pressures to be at about 20. So if they go beyond 20, below 20, you know that you're gonna be a little low on refrigerant. If they stay way above 20, you might be overcharged. So let's go ahead and turn on the car and put the AC on full blast, and then I'll have someone come out and hold the gas pedal for me so we can see what the pressures are looking like. All right, so now that we're hooked up, we notice that the pressures are pretty much equalized. Reason being is because the car's not running. Once you turn on the car, the high side is gonna raise and the low side is gonna drop. Being that it's 134A, we're gonna want the pressure to be around 25 to 30 pounds. That is really the ideal set point for 134A for a comfortable vehicle per se. And how we do that is we hold on the gas for about, I like to do 2500 RPM. Some people might do 3000 or 2000. I go 2500 RPM. That's usually what you're cruising at. But if your car cruises a little higher in the RPMs, like on the highway, go ahead and rev to that RPM range. However, at that range, you don't want your pressures to drop beyond 25. So if they go too low, that is an indication that you are low on refrigerant. If they're too high, it's an indication that you are overcharged. So go ahead and turn on the car and see what the pressures are gonna do. Make sure we turn on the car and have the AC on full blast. So we got the car on. Let's go ahead and put the AC all the way up. Click the button. should be a little light, and lower this all the way to 65. Let's go see what the pressure is looking like. Okay, so we got the car on and our pressure is really dropping. I mean, almost immediately to 0 PSI. And there we go, going back up. Reason it went back up is because the compressor clicked off. Once the compressor senses that there's no pressure for a set period of time, as a safety, it turns off. That way there is no damage to the compressor itself. So let's go ahead and grab the refrigerant bottle and charge this up. All right, so I've got my bottle of 134A here. So I'm gonna hook up the yellow hose to the bottle, flip the bottle upside down and open it. We're gonna purge it out, and then we're gonna feed it in through the low side. Super, super easy. Just go ahead. If that sounded complicated, just watch as I do it, okay? Quick side note. Remember when I said you might have the little 20-ounce bottle of it? Well, it's gonna be the same thing. The 20-ounce bottle is gonna come with a small hose, and that small hose is gonna be the same thing that we're gonna be doing with this gauge, with this yellow hose. So let's go ahead and charge this AC up. So I'm opening it up upside down because we want all the liquid to be at the bottom. Let's go ahead and set this there. And like I said, we're gonna purge it. Nothing crazy, but just until we know that the hose is out of air. So we're gonna open it. Open. There you go. See, that was super quick. I'll do it again. Just until we see refrigerant come out. There we go. Now we know that there's no air in this hose that is coming from the bottle. So this is where you're gonna wanna grab somebody to step on the gas, hold it at around 2,500 RPM, and we're gonna fill up until we have the pressure maintaining at around 25 PSI. Now, in a perfect world, your car's gonna have a sticker. The sticker's gonna say the car takes this many ounces. So in that case, you would charge the system with a scale. So you would use this or the small one, put it on a scale, and then charge it to the 8 or 9 ounces that the car takes. But in my case, and in many people's cases, that luxury is not in front of us. There is no sticker indicating how much charge to take. And I can go online and take it from a forum, but I'm making this video to show you guys that you can do it just by going off of pressure. I have done it many times and it works every single time. So let me get someone to step on the gas and I'm gonna charge this up. This is the temperature of the air coming out of the vents with the AC on. So let's go ahead, charge it up, and we'll take a temp reading. Also, on the Evo 10s, that flashing light indicates that the compressor shut off due to a safety. Most of the time that is because there is not enough pressure. It's shutting off on low pressure. So that is a good thing to know if you didn't know that already. So I'm gonna get the compressor to kick on. We're gonna add some to the high side here. We got the compressor on. We're charging it up. Like I said, don't let it get too low or otherwise it's gonna turn off on you. So you kind of gotta play with it. I think it was really low, so it might take a little bit, but okay. So it's staying at 10. Before it was dropping to 0, so definitely a good sign. It needs a little more. We want about 25, like I said earlier, so 15, we're almost there. And like I said, I'm closing and opening. Don't want to open it all the way because we'll let too much in, but just be safe than sorry. So you want to open slowly and close. Open slowly, close. Just play with it until you have it maintaining 25 PSI. Okay, so it's clicking on and off a lot more. So we're gonna have my dad step on the gas now. So with the gas, We're gonna want it to maintain 25. They're running, we're at about 35. We are good, and like I said, the AC is currently on, so it's looking a lot better. All right, and with the car accelerating now, I've got the AC to be right around 25 psi. Right now it's at 30, but like I said, the RPMs are a little low. Once you get on it, the pressure does drop to where I wanted it, which was at 25 psi. And if we go back inside the car, we will also notice that the AC light is not blinking anymore, as you can see there. And if we take a temp reading, it is looking very chilly, which is a great sign. Okay, now we can go ahead and disconnect our hoses and put our caps back on. I don't have the high side cap, you have the low side cap. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to AutoZone or O'Reilly's and I'm gonna see if they have any caps. So let me go ahead and show you guys the temperatures on the inside, then go ahead and turn off the car and we could do a quick overview of what we just did. Back inside the car, temperatures are really chilly now, 38 and going down. So definitely recommend you watch this video all the way through. And if you did, please make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There are a lot more tips and tricks that I can show you guys. Just comment what you guys want to know and I'll make sure to make a video about it. So with that being said, as you can see, you guys saw before we were blowing like 90-degree air. Now we're blowing a chilly 35 degrees, which honestly might be a little too cold for some people, but hey, in the summer nothing is too cold. With that being said, let's go ahead and do a quick overview of what we just did, and then you guys will be fully confident and fully trained on how to charge your own AC. So we want to make sure that our refrigerant tank is closed along with the hoses. So we got everything picked up now. Let's go ahead and go over what we just did. So initially the car, whenever I would put the AC on, it would start and it would shut off almost immediately. Reason being is because, as you saw in the beginning of the video, the pressure, as soon as the compressor kicks on, goes to zero and into a vacuum, which that is never good for a compressor. No pressure and being in a vacuum is what is going to kill your compressor. So the car senses that and it throws up a flashing light on the AC light, meaning and indicating that there is a pressure problem, a problem with your compressor. Really, most of the time it's pressure related, but it can also be your compressor itself. We figured out that it was a pressure issue because we gauged up, right? Once we established that we didn't have no leaks and that it was not a compressor problem, we went ahead and got our refrigerant. You might have the little one in a bottle. Like I said, it's gonna be the same thing. You're just gonna have one hose and it's only gonna go on the low side. So turn on the car and we put a little bit of pressure on the high side, just a little bit of refrigerant. That way it was enough to kick on the compressor. Once the compressor clicks on, you can hear it and you can see the pressures begin to drop pretty quickly. Then essentially what I was doing was fighting against the pressure hitting zero. So it was getting close to zero. I was cranking on the low side, allowing the low side to build in pressure. I kept doing that until it established and it maintained at least 10 to 15 psi on its own. After that, I charged it a little more thoroughly. And what I mean by thoroughly is at 2 to 3,000, I like to use 2,500 RPM. I had someone hold the gas at that RPM range and I put refrigerant to where we were maintaining 25 psi at that RPM range, because that is the best point for 134A on a vehicle application. That is where you're going to get the best cooling, right? So once we established that and the pressures were maintaining with the compressor running 25, around roughly 25 psi, I don't have to be exact, but roughly, we knew that we were properly charged. Also, with the car just simply idling, no gas, no RPM other than it's idle, properly charged vehicles are going to sit between 30 to 40 psi. And as you can see, our pressure was sitting right around 35, 34, 36. It would fluctuate, right? Which is normal. And our high side was at roughly 150. You want really 145 to 175 high pressure. So if your high side is within that range and your low side is within the 30 to 40 and your high side is within 145 to 175 at idle, you know you're properly charged. Also guys, when the ambient temperature is at about 100 or it's one of those hotter days, your pressures might be a little higher. It might be, you know, let's say we're aiming for 30 psi on a 70-degree day. In a 100-degree day, those pressures might go up to 45, 55. The best way to, if you guys are nervous about that, I mean, I do this stuff for a living. I'm an HVAC refrigeration tech, but if you're someone that doesn't and the pressures kind of scare you, you can easily look up a pressure temperature chart for 134A and it'll tell you exactly where you want to be depending on the ambient temperature and what your pressure should be correlating to that. So go ahead and do your own research on that. But other than that, that's just a little side note I forgot to mention. So yeah, that's why on a lot of vehicles I don't really ever use the nameplate. You don't have to use a nameplate. Maybe on some brand new vehicles you do, but what are the odds that you have to refill refrigerant on a brand new vehicle? And if you did have a brand new vehicle that needs a refrigerant refill, more than likely it's going to be under your warranty. So go ahead and hit up your dealership or whoever you have warranty, have them take care of it. But this video is meant for the people like me who might not have or might have been scared at first to charge up their cars. This is for you guys. Now this is how you confidently do it. So make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.